Hi, my name is Debbie Woods, and I want to welcome you to Narcissism Survival Institute and our channel. I am a board-certified holistic health practitioner, and I wanted to set up this channel to help others navigate the journey from being a survivor of narcissistic abuse and working through all of that pathway to not just calling ourselves survivors, but calling ourselves empowered individuals who have navigated that pathway and found our way to living in a space of empowered, holistic wellness. It is not an easy journey, and a lot of times you find yourself stepping back into the space of, oh, I'm a survivor. But that carries with it a lot of times that feeling of victimhood. And so it's important to remember who you are without leaning into the labels of being a victim. And so with that, I wanted to share who I am and how we can, what my objective is with the channel in terms of learning how to live in a vibrant living space. One of the things I want to do with the channel is talk about a lot of different topics around what is a narcissist, how did you get here, how can you get out of it, how can you identify a narcissist, how can you, because one of the things we know as those of us who've encountered narcissism in our lives is you will always, it's not a matter of will I ever encounter this again, you will, but a matter of when you do, how do you see it quickly and how do you extricate yourself from that quickly without feeling guilty. That's one of the greatest tactics of the narcissist, is making you feel guilty for stepping into your own empowered space and making you feel like you're doing something wrong when you take care of yourself. And so we'll talk about those kind of topics. I'll share with you, apologize, my dogs didn't want anything to do with me all day today, and then suddenly they want to come in and spend time. We'll talk about on the channel the various tools and techniques that I've used in my journey, and then how you can use those tools for yourself as well if there's something that you want to utilize. And then I'll also share with you how you can work with me individually in a one-on-one situation if you want to have individual counseling and coaching. Some of the tools that I've used are tools like understanding the body's energy centers, the chakras, and how those energy centers, when they're aligned, you can feel very centered and in a good space, and how when they're misaligned, not only can they lead to feeling out of balance, but they can also lead to health issues. The various energy centers of our body help to feed various areas of our body in terms of our physical well-being. And so we'll talk about that and some of our topics. We'll talk about astrology, interestingly enough, has to do, a lot of people shy away from this because it seems too magical and mystical and to use a coin of phrase, the woo-woo and that sort of thing. But the reality is even some of the great scientists, Galileo and Sir Isaac Newton and these sorts of individuals studied astrology along with astronomy, mathematics and that sort of thing, because the energies related to the placement of the various planets had an impact on the physicality of our being. And just as a simple understatement, just consider the fact that the moon itself moves the planets, the waters on this planet. And your body is greater than 70% water. So if the moon is having an impact on the oceans and the tides on this planet, which are water, and you are 70% water, then the moon is going to have an impact on your physicality as it goes through its various phases around this planet. And so in the same way, the sun, the stars, the other planets are going to have an impact on your physicality. One of the things, the way that I like to look at this is not so much, and most astrologers will tell you this, is not so much a destined situation as much as a map. And I describe it much like before you take a journey, you look at the map. You want to know what is ahead. Is there construction on the road? Are there sharp hairpin turns ahead on the road? Do you have bad weather ahead? And those sorts of things. And that's, if you looked at astrology in that manner and thought of it as a roadmap, what's ahead for me in the energy that I'm dealing with, or in the weather? What's the weather like today? Do I need a raincoat? Is it going to snow? Do I need is it going to be sunny out? What do I need to navigate this day or this next 3 months or what have you? That's a better way to think of astrology. And so we'll talk about understanding astrology as a map of the energies and how to navigate the energies that lie ahead of you, the energies that create the map of your life and how they interact with the energies on any given time frame. Nothing being carved in stone. We'll learn about subtle energies in crystals and stones and things like that. A lot of people really enjoy that. Some people don't have any interest in that whatsoever. And so if it's something that interests you, we can talk about that. We'll understand the power that relies in breath work. A lot of people who struggle with anxiety and anxious feelings, and certainly if you've dealt with narcissism in your past, you probably have anxiety issues to some degree or other. And this will help you as you are working through any of the stresses and struggles that you deal with in your day-to-day life. And so breath work is very, very important. Most of us don't breathe properly at all. And so we'll talk through that, and we'll learn about meditation practices. A lot of times when you talk about meditation, the first thing you hear and you think about are these very, very spiritual individuals who work in an ashram, and they're separated from the rest of society, and they really just spend their days in a sense just separated from the world, right? That's not a realistic thought process for most of us. And so to tell you, gosh, you need to have a meditation practice, it can be a big turnoff for most people. But if you were to understand that based on your zodiac sign, based on your date of birth and when you were born in the year, and a lot of different factors, the energies back to the astrology, you might resonate more in a way of meditation practice that is about movement and the energies for you to become aligned and centered and present, which is what meditation is about, becoming very present and not caught up in thoughts and worries of yesterday and thoughts and worries of tomorrow, but present and centered. Um, a meditation practice might be something like dance. It might be something like taking a walk in the park. It might be just going down to the beach and putting your feet in the water. It might be just sitting very quietly and in a lotus position with, it might be many different things. You might want to incorporate some of each of those things in your meditation practice. And so we'll talk about what does that mean for you in your lifestyle, and that sort of thing. We'll also talk about some other tools that people use, the tarot cards and oracle cards, how they can be useful in opening your mind to different, connecting with the universe, to bringing in different messages from your guides. And again, it may be a tool that's not useful for you personally, but having a conversation about what are these things. They're mystical tools that sometimes carry they get a negative rap because people don't understand them. And the Christian world that some of us come from has given these things a very bad rap. Now, like anything, everything can be used for negative purposes and everything can be used for good. And so we can talk about what are the negative things that any of these tools have been utilized for in the past. Where did the negative rap come from? And then what are the positive things and what is the useful things? And so we can talk about those things. And then why so many people that you will talk to in healing journeys talk about doing a practice of journaling. What is it? Why is it important? And how can you begin to set up a practice of journaling for yourself that works for you? What works for this person isn't going to work for the next person, and that isn't going to work for the next person. And so you have to find what works for me, and don't let yourself be pigeonholed into a practice that is working for somebody else. Again, you have to remember that you are coming out of a space where you've been in a narcissistic abuse situation of some varying degree or other. And in the worst case scenario, your ability to make choices for yourself can be very thwarted, and leaning into what other people tell you to do can be an Achilles heel. And so being able to step up and say, gosh, I really don't feel like that's good for me, I want to try something else, can be a difficult thing to do for yourself. And so this is something we'll talk about. We'll have, what I want to do as I begin the channel is I want to be able to have two videos for you each week, in which one I'll talk about various topics like I'm doing tonight. And tonight is what is the channel about and who am I, and why do I feel like I have the right to give you any information. And then the other day I'll talk about one of these topics, one of these tools, and what is it useful for. And so I think that's what I want to do. And I think that's a good place to end for today. We're going to discuss those kind of topics and ideas as we head into this journey. If you think that's helpful for you, I think tune in again. I'm going to try and post on somewhere between Monday and Wednesday each week, and then again on Friday or Saturday. The other thing I'll put in, make available here, either in the comments, probably not tonight, but in the coming videos, is how you can work with me one-on-one, how you can reach out to me so that we can set up time to work together. If you just want to do a quick 15-minute call and see, are we a good fit? We can do that. I won't charge for those sort of things, but then I'll also give you a price listing on one-on-one counseling or coaching. If you are interested in doing an astrology reading, if you're interested in having a Reiki healing session, if you're interested in tarot readings, those sorts of things, we can do that. And we'll talk more about different types of coaching that I do for different people. So with that, I'll leave you this evening, and you can tune in again Friday, Saturday. I'll make another post and get more information to you. So throughout the week, I'll start to build some other content. Maybe I'm not sure exactly what I'll put together. Maybe some astrology readings or some tarot card readings, just some fun sort of things that are just general readings that won't be very specific, but for some people they might find that very interesting. So I hope you all have a good evening, and I hope that you find this content interesting, and share in the comments anything that you'd be interested in learning about, and I'd be very happy to share that with you. Thank you so much, and we'll talk again. Have a good evening.